What I want to do, since we spent so much time on the Phantom Troop and the Haley, I just want to make sure that we're fully caught up and understand everything in regards to the Succession War as Hulkenberg's funeral process continues to go on, because I have to imagine that the second phase of the Succession War is going to blow up. We are on such thin ice, and we know that Hulkenberg is already on his own time limit, doing the best he can with Balsamico's body the moment his main body dies. Now that his main body is dead and going through the funeral, Hulkenberg took the sleeping pills inside of Balsamico's body, and with that set time limit, I believe it's about 10 to 12 hours, he is going to use Possession Arrow on Benjamin to hopefully take over Benjamin's body and take his first steps into victory of the Succession War. And I have to say, one of the most interesting things as well that also goes perfectly into Hulkenberg's entire philosophy is that this big funeral procession on almost every tier is going on of all of his different followers and everybody who loves Hulkenberg and appreciates him, whether they're all imbued with feathers or not. It's completely possible this might be the straight up anomaly that Hulkenberg needs to attack Benjamin. If he can get Benjamin to get close to the funeral, or even just sap all that energy that's congregated throughout the entire Black Whale, because we know that one of the biggest questions was Balsamico entering Benjamin's quarters, he's going to be alone, and we know that Possession Arrow needs to sap from the energy of Hulkenberg's followers. But again, with this big funeral possession, depending on where Benjamin is, depending on where all of this can end up, this can be one of the biggest bloodbaths of all time. We don't know what Benjamin's guardian spirit beast can do. We've already seen it exorcise low-level curses off of Fugetsu, whether it's a Nen Exorcist type guardian spirit beast or it was just overall protecting Benjamin. We have seen Possession Arrow bypass almost every single Nen ability it has been met with. Full-on defensive Nen abilities, even blitzing through offensive Nen abilities before they can fire. Possession Arrow interacting with Benjamin's guardian spirit beast will be one of the most interesting things in the world to see. If Hulkenberg misses this opportunity, it might be the step that Benjamin needs to enact martial law, which might just be a huge game changer because it could act as a big instant win condition for Benjamin, putting everyone in a room that they can't leave from and letting all of Benjamin's soldiers and Benjamin move freely. But if Hulkenberg wins and Hulkenberg goes into Benjamin's body or kills Benjamin outright, the ramifications of that could be huge and really tip the Succession War in Hulkenberg's favor. He has resolved to do anything necessary to win at this point. Another big prince that I'm worried about is Prince Camilla, second prince, and her imprisonment. We saw her very lackadaisically getting her nails painted, watching the funeral procession from her iPad, but we know that she is taking moves. We don't know if her imprisonment is going to last much longer, especially with all of the different court cases and everything falling through. Her Nen ability is one of the most OP Nen abilities of all time. The fact that it is able to revive her after death and use the person that killed her or someone's around her's life as the sacrifice is not just OP, but if her guardian spirit beast is some level of manipulation type after certain conditions are met, that might be the perfect self-fulfilling prophecy cycle that can continually make Camilla stronger and stronger. I don't know if the theory that she's consistently Zenkai boosting from Nen after death because of that is true or not, because that would be even more fucking OP. The fact that her have-nots have already descended on Wobble and the small little Nen training class that Karapika is cooking at the moment is worrisome, because we know that the have-nots have to spend a lot of time on the princes to make sure that their curses are valid and their curses will actually kill their target. But we already got confirmation that because Wobble's only a couple months, if not weeks old, it's not going to take long to curse him. And this person is going to be able to get closer to him. And the fact that if they're able to get right up next to Wobble and imbue that curse because it doesn't take much time, faster than everyone else, this is going to be the biggest danger to Wobble that they've ever met in the longest time. And that just makes the Nen class one of the most dangerous places for Karapika and Wobble to be at this time. Because legitimately, Karapika was wondering that if he was better off being a sitting duck in Third Prince Zhonglei's care with the Mafia being so close to busting. But it seems like, honestly, with Silent Majority, who will most likely come back next Nen class, it's been too long since they've hit. And Camilla's have-nots, with Karapika going to be reading the letter that's going to be revealing the different secrets of like Hulkenberg's birth, Sorodnik's crimes. It's going to stir up a lot of drama and issues between not just the different hunters and bodyguards that are in the Nen class, but the different princes amongst the ship, and potentially get Karapika involved with princes like Benjamin, maybe even Sorodnik, who we know is Karapika's main goal at the end of all of this. Karapika even assumes that might be why Camilla is infiltrating the Nen class so late in the game, because she doesn't want Karapika to reveal these secrets. Again, we know with the have-nots, there's ulterior motives, whether Karapika is completely on the correct path or not. The last thing I do want to mention with Camilla too is whether or not she is connected to Chrollo with Nen ability that Chrollo is looking to steal. I know a lot of people have theorized that Camilla's Nen ability would be exactly what Chrollo needs to ensure Hisoka is dead, killing Hisoka and then sapping his life spirit, or Chrollo dies and then saps Hisoka's life spirit away and would ensure Hisoka's death. There are plenty of different candidates that Chrollo could use to hurt Hisoka much more. I mean, there's a theory that Chrollo could steal Hisoka's own ability. Chrollo could meet up with Karapika, and there is that potential uneasy alliance that might be made, since not for nothing, they both want more or less the same thing. Chrollo inadvertently wants to end the Succession War by performing his heist and stealing the 3 sacred treasures, and Karapika wants to end the Succession War so that way he can save as many as people as possible. The person that Chrollo is looking for with the Find My Perfect Match phone could be anybody. Chrollo doesn't have to know who it is. Chrollo literally just sets in coordinates of his perfect match, and the phone's gonna take him there. Whether that person is Hisoka, Camilla, Karapika, or some other 4th person, we're just gonna have to wait and find out, because not even Chrollo knows who's that's going to be. But we know that it's gonna take him to the Nen ability that he needs, whether that's Camilla or anyone else. The one thing that I do want to mention as well in regards to princes like Zhang princes like Tubepa, everything like that. The fact that Tubepa is trying to take the heat off of them by pushing her guards towards Zhang and making their alliance clear so that way other princes want to take Zhang out first. I don't know what Tubepa's goal is in all of this besides just to survive as long as possible. And with Long He's contract with Karapika, it's possible Karapika's, ability to use Long He's contract may come in handy with enacting Force Zetsu on Chrollo or taking that boon to power himself up. We don't know who beyond Netero's child is. At this point, the 2 most likely candidates are either Miriam or Sorodnik. If Karapika is able to figure that out, that contract levels him up to a certain degree that he might be able to deal with some of the threats in the Nen class room. But again, Chrollo, Hisoka, the Mafia, and Phantom Troupe very closely converging upon each other, as a lot of people have already theorized could tip right into tier 1. There's a lot of things that may interrupt the Succession War and the second phase of the Succession War further than we even thought. One of the last couple of things too is we also have Melody's next musical performance, which we saw last time. The musical performance took a lot of people off guard, got Kacho killed sadly. But now that they know they can't escape, they can use this musical performance, or at least Karapika and the people that are aware of it can use that musical performance to their advantage. The only problem is there's a lot more people aware of Nen from the last time that may be able to also use the Melody performance to their advantage. I know a lot of people are also worried about Melody being in danger from 4th Prince Sorodnik. However, we know that Sorodnik is much more focused on learning Nen than he is just killing people. So if Melody can demonstrate value to him, while that is worrisome, because we've seen what happened to Theta, Melody can play a big part in this as well, and I don't want people to forget about that. As well as Kaiser potentially being someone that's on Morena's side. We still don't know who Kaiser is working for. We do know that he wants to support Hulkenberg, but we don't know what that means. Tyson, Miriam has been staying out of everything so far, and the reason why I think they could be the Beyond Netero child is that Miriam's mother, Savante, was so focused on protecting Miriam that her other daughter, Momose, literally died because she took all of Momose's guards off of Momose so they could protect Miriam. And she is very much a helicopter parent for Miriam, whether it's because she just loves her son more than her daughter, or because he has more importance further than what we've seen. If that has ties to Beyond Netero, who knows? Tyson has just been building her little cult following and not really interacting much either. So are they safe because they've been staying out of things so far and haven't made any major enemies? Or are they the ones that are in most danger? And maybe not Miriam, because his guardian spirit beast is one of the most OP, just teleporting people to other pocket dimensions. But Tyson's the one that's in a lot of danger. Tyson, Tubeppa, Fugetsu is very weak, but very heavily guarded. But is pretty vulnerable. We also have Loserus, who has kind of just been smoking a lot of pot and not really doing too many crazy things, so he's been kind of staying out of the game. Is he going to start making moves? Are Melody and Kacho correct about their deduction of Loserus having something to do with Fugetsu's curse, even though Benjamin outright said that her curse has nothing to do with anybody else? There are a lot of princes that I think don't really hold much value in the final steps of the Succession War. And some of those that I just named are them. We still don't know what Tubeppa's Guardian Spirit Beast does. We've saw it appear for certain different alliances. Rihan might even be able to figure that out. But again, if Rihan can activate Predator, Tubeppa might be dead before we even know it. Overall, just going into the Phantom Troupe and Hei Lee situation, Finks and Phaeton fighting the Hei Lee, the different Nen users they have, as well as Morena, could be a very interesting show. A lot of people are very worried we're going to lose Phantom Troupe members, myself included. We've got the potential Nobunaga versus Heinrich after Lynch's death, because Heinrich is now against the troupe despite being a previous fan. Hisoka and Bano are on tier 1, and we still don't know who the real Hisoka's benefactor was to get Hisoka into tier 1, and how he's going to play into the events of maybe the Succession War. Shizuku's potential theory of her fortune from Neon coming true, even though we're past the month-long time limit that it used to have. It's possible Neon's death may have enacted post-mortem Nen, because Shalnark's fortune of dying while answering the phone and being alone came true when Ahsoka killed him months after York knew. So if Neon's fortunes are still on the table, Shizuku's fortune is possible, and right now Shizuku is alone. And that was when she was told that would be the most lethal for her. We still don't even know what beyond Netero's involvement in the Succession War will be, if anything. I truly believe his involvement as a villain and as a force will be saved for the Dark Continent. With him wanting to meet someone, we may not find out for another 20 chapters or so, but Crollo's searching for somebody, Ahsoka's looking for somebody. Everyone's looking for someone in this arc, and all I know is we are chapters away from events blowing up, and I am just excited to see how it all goes, honestly.